Welcome back to the channel. If you're playing Archer and feel like your damage just isn't hitting hard enough, you're constantly missing shots, or you don't have enough crit to burst down enemies, then there's a good chance you're using the wrong emblems on your pets. So in this video, I'm going to break down Archer's skill set, explain how the emblem system works, and then give you the 9 emblems that I believe are the best choices for this class, divided into different groups so you can easily understand and apply them. First, let's take a quick look at Archer's skill set, because this is the foundation for deciding which stats we should prioritize. Archer has auto shot with a 1-second cooldown and a 52% damage rate, making it a basic skill that can be used continuously. Multi-shot fires 6 arrows in a straight line, with each arrow dealing 24% damage, and has a 4.3-second cooldown. Warhawk summons a battle hawk that fights alongside you for 10 seconds, firing feathers that deal 50% damage with a 13-second cooldown. And most importantly, Hunt activates hunting time, increasing attack speed by 80% for 10 seconds with a 21-second cooldown. Archer also has the Moonblade skill branch. Moonblade has a 52% damage rate. Piercing Moonblade fires forward with a massive 147% damage rate. Trap playing places a circular trap that deals 288% damage to enemies that enter the area. And Arrow Rain rains down multiple arrows, dealing 11 instances of damage over 3 seconds within an 8-meter radius, with a 41% damage rate. Looking at the entire skill set, it's clear that Archer is heavily focused on extremely fast attack speed through Hunt, combined with constant damage from Multi-Shot, Arrow Rain, and Warhawk, while also having powerful burst attacks from Piercing Moonblade and Trap Laying. Because Archer attacks quickly and hits frequently, having a low hit rating can be extremely wasteful. No matter how high your damage is, constantly missing your attacks makes that damage meaningless. From there, I believe the most important stats for Archer are attack to increase your base damage, crit and crit bonus to maximize critical hits during rapid attacks, penetration to break through the defenses of enemies and bosses, damage bonus to directly increase your overall damage output, and finally hit rating to make sure attacks like Multi-Shot and Arrow Rain consistently connect with their targets. Playing mobile games on your phone is great, but after about 30 minutes, your phone gets hot as a piece of charcoal, the battery drains like crazy, and not to mention the tiny screen causing you to misclick skills over and over again. If you're dealing with the same problems, stop for a few seconds, because this is the solution I've been using for the past year. That solution is playing mobile games right on your PC with BlueStacks, one of the most popular and best optimized Android emulators available today. Instead of putting your expensive phone through all that stress, you can bring your entire mobile game library to a large PC screen and play all day without worrying about running out of battery or damaging your phone. So, what do I like most about BlueStacks? First, the super flexible keymapping. Use your mouse to activate skills, move around with the standard WASD keys just like in a real PC game, with extremely fast response times. Second, the multi-instance feature. You can run multiple accounts at the same time, making it incredibly convenient to farm materials or grind alt accounts without having to buy another phone. Third, performance optimization. It supports high FPS and sharp graphics while using your computer's resources efficiently, so even a mid-range PC can run games smoothly. Overall, if you want to take your gaming experience to the next level and grind the rankings smoothly without worrying about damaging your phone, BlueStacks is definitely a must-have software. I've left the official and completely free download link right below in the description and pinned in the comments. Go ahead and download it and give it a try today. Now, let's quickly go over the emblem system for those who may not be familiar with it yet. Emblems are equipment pieces attached to your pets, unlocking when a pet reaches level 40, with additional slots gradually becoming available at levels 50, 60, 70, and 80. The important thing to remember is that an emblem's stats only take effect when the pet is deployed in combat, so make sure you check this when setting up your team. Emblems are divided into 3 main categories in the gallery: skill, wisdom, and vitality, and you must equip each emblem in the correct category and corresponding slot for it to work. There's also an interesting mechanic with the top slot, which is marked as unique. Unique emblems can only be equipped once at a time, while regular emblems that are not unique can be equipped up to 2 copies simultaneously to stack their effects. Emblems also have a tier progression system, meaning they become stronger as you collect more pieces and upgrade them. progressing from T2, T4 to T3, T4, then T3, T5, and so on, with higher tiers providing stronger stats. One thing I think many players overlook is the hidden benefit of collecting emblems, known as collection rewards. It's not just about equipping emblems on your pets to make them stronger. The more emblems you own and upgrade to certain tier milestones, the more permanent stacking buffs you unlock for your entire character. For rare emblems, reaching milestones such as T9 and T13 grants additional all-basic stats, with another increase at T18, and at T27 you also gain additional damage bonus and damage reduction. Epic emblems offer even more valuable rewards, with milestones such as T12 and T18 providing significant basic stat bonuses, while reaching T36 grants additional damage bonus and damage reduction. So my advice is don't immediately ignore or get rid of emblems that you don't currently need. Keep them and gradually upgrade them to reach these collection milestones because they provide permanent stacking power that can become extremely valuable in the long run. Now we get to the main part that many of you have been waiting for. The 9 emblems that I believe are the best choices for Archer. I've divided them into 3 different groups so you can easily follow along. The first group focuses on maximizing raw damage and penetration, and I would consider this the God tier group for Archer. First, we have Hellworm at T3, T5, providing 180 attack and 6.2% damage bonus. This is a very direct combination that increases your overall damage output, and I think it's definitely worth investing in early. Next is Wrath Tyrannosaur at the same T3, T5 tier, providing 180 penetration and 6.2% damage bonus. This helps Archer break through the defenses of elite enemies and bosses while also increasing overall damage, making it a perfect fit for a class that relies on constant high damage output. Finally, we have Swarm Whelp at T2, T4, providing 100 attack and 4.5% damage bonus. Its stats are lower than the 2 emblems above, but it's still a very solid option during the early and mid-game when you haven't farmed enough pieces for higher tier emblems. The second group focuses on Critical Burst, because Archer attacks quickly and consistently, allowing crit to reach its full potential. First, we have Spellbound at T3, T5, providing 180 crit and 3.8% attack bonus. The high crit stat combined with percentage-based attack creates a very strong offensive combination. Next is Primal Tyrannosaur at T3, T5, providing 180 penetration and 0.2% crit bonus. This is an extremely powerful combination because it gives you both penetration and increased critical damage, making it especially effective for burst attacks like Piercing Moonblade and trap laying. Finally, we have Orc Shaman at T2, T4, providing 100 crit and 7.4% crit bonus. This can be considered a foundational emblem for maintaining a consistent critical hit rate throughout combat. The third group focuses on accuracy and utility stats. It may not look as impressive as the first 2 groups, but I think this is one of the most overlooked groups despite being extremely important. First, we have Orc Warlock at T2, T4, providing 100 hit rating and 4.5% damage bonus. I really value this emblem because it increases your damage while also making sure attacks like multi-shot and arrow rain consistently connect with their targets. Imagine firing 6 arrows and missing more than half of them. That's a huge amount of wasted damage. Next is Hunt Whelp at T2, T4, providing 100 penetration and 11.1% hit bonus, helping maintain high accuracy as you progress into higher level content where enemies have increasingly annoying evasion and defensive stats. And finally, we have Obsidian at T3, T5, providing 180 attack and 3.8% HP bonus. I placed this emblem in the utility group because the additional HP helps Archer survive longer, while the 1 in 80 attack still gives you a significant damage boost without sacrificing too much offensive power. When it comes to the overall priority, if you ask me which emblems you should invest in first for Archer, I would recommend starting with the pure damage and damage bonus group, followed by the critical group, then penetration, and finally hit rating. That said, hit rating becomes much more important if you notice that your miss rate is getting too high. The reason I put damage bonus at the top is because it directly multiplies your overall damage output across all of your skills, while attack and penetration are additional stats that contribute to the damage calculation. If you don't have enough resources to farm all 9 emblems at once, I would recommend prioritizing Hellworm, Wrath Tyrannosaur, and Orc Warlock first, because I think these 3 provide the best balance between damage and consistency. Besides choosing the right emblems, don't forget about collection rewards that I mentioned earlier. Even if you're not using an emblem directly on your pet, collecting and upgrading it can still contribute to permanent all-basic stats for your character. This is a major source of long-term power that many players overlook because they focus only on the emblems currently equipped on their pets and forget about the overall collection bonuses. That's everything I wanted to cover about the emblem build I currently recommend for Archer in WoW Adventure. Of course, depending on your available resources and farming progress, you can adjust the priority order to fit your account. The most important thing is understanding the strengths of your class and choosing the stats that actually support its playstyle. How are you building your Archer? Are you focusing more on crit burst, or are you going all in on damage bonus and penetration? Let me know in the comments so we can compare different builds and strategies. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more WoW Adventure guides. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.